In this opportunity, we are going to talk about a specific reading strategy that is really helpful for you in college level. The name is annotation. Let's define and let's see how to apply this reading strategy. The first thing is defining what is annotation or what is annotating. Annotating is any action that deliberately interacts with the text to enhance the reader's understanding of, recall of, and reaction to the text. This is annotating. This is the reading strategy about. It's the interaction that you have as a reader with the text. It's not just reading for read it. It's to finish the passage and that's it. Not. It's to interact. It's a really different type strategy, okay? Sometimes called close reading. Yeah, sometimes people call it close reading because you are really close with this interaction of the text. You are not just reading it. You are interacting and understanding in a deeply way the meaning of the text. Annotating usually involves highlighting or underlining key pieces of the text and making notes in the margins of the text. It's basically like that. It's taking notes, underlining, writing some specific symbols, writing comments on one side of the page, and doing another things. Annotating is when readers makes note and flag or highlight important details. As I said, it's not just reading and that's it. If someone's give you a passage and tells you that you have to do annotation, you have to interact, highlighting, making circles, underlining some words or phrases, and making comments. What are some things that are really positive about annotating? It's that helps reader to focus on what they are reading. It's really different because you are focusing here. You have to interact, and that's why you have to be really concentrated in the text. Understand the details. This is more important thing. It's not just the main idea. It's not just doing skimming. It's understanding the text. Keeps track of thoughts and feelings. Yeah, you are feeling the text. You are understanding it. You are creating thoughts, comments, doubts, etc. Keep track of important detail. Yeah, you in this way you are keeping track. Prepares for discussion because you are understanding the text. You are prepared for discussing about the text and to write down about a text. So after that, most of the people do essays because they understand and get the idea of the text in a deeply way, and that's why they are able to discuss and to write about it. What are some characteristics? The length. It can vary on the length. While some are only a few sentences, others can be very lengthy. Typically, annotation do not exceed from 150 lines or words, sorry, not lines, words, to 200 words. So it's the length, it can vary, but they are not too long. As you can see, the words are not too many words. That's why it's really nice and it's easy to do annotation. But imagine if you have to annotate an entire novel from 40, 80 pages. It's almost impossible. What are the type of text? Non-fiction ones. It's really important. Annotation is not fiction. You are not going to read a novel. You are not going to do annotation of a poems. Sometimes you can do it, but it's not too correct or it's not really used to. This is why we have to use non-fiction ones, like could be scientific articles or passages, chapter of books, newspaper articles, essays. The TOEFL passages are really helpful here for doing annotation. So the students use general annotating symbols and direction. This is another characteristic. With annotation, we use specific symbols and some specific directions that work with any text. For example, we can do these symbols, those directions, to make predictions or making connections or highlighting interesting facts, writing comments, or writing some doubts that we have of the text. So this is basically the characteristics. The lengths, they are short. What are the type of texts that are not fictions and that we use symbols and directions. How to do it? The first thing is, okay, you have here a paragraph with 200 words. The first thing is look through the article, the chapter of the book, and not or have to take a look at the heading or the title and the subheadings. You have to pay attention also to bold or italicized terms or images that you have around. Then underline the thesis statement. So the main idea, we covered this, so we know what is the main idea. You have to underline that thing. The main argument or the viewpoint has to do with one or two sentences. You remember that. And write in your own words in the margin. Later I'm going to explain how you're going to do it, but you have to underline the thesis or the main idea, and then you have to rewrite it using it your own words here on the one side of the page. Now circle any words you don't recognize. Okay, every single word that are strange, that are unfamiliar for you, you have to circle them. And then you have to look in the dictionary the terms and write them on the margin. Write any question you have also around the text or one side on the margin. You have to write any questions. You can use highlighters. Okay, highlighters are really important. You can use different colors for different type of reactions. For example, for important words you have to use one color of highlighter. For questions you have to use another color, and so on. And use symbology, okay, according to the interaction with the text. I'm going to explain this symbology right now. The type of symbols that we use is those ones. We use this for identifying something that is really important. Underline a keyword or details. We use this for when you are reading a specific line and you understand it really well. This other symbol for something that is unfamiliar for you. Question mark for things that you don't understand. This exclamation mark to say that you are surprised for something that you found in the text. This is like a connection. You can do that symbol, that infinite symbol, to make a connection with, for example, the first line with the third line or the last line. And words of comments that you write on the margins because you are thinking, you are reacting with the text. So this type of symbols are the ones that you use when you are doing annotation. And here you have examples. As you can see, the passage or the paragraph is really short and we have a space around. We have the margins, and here the person is using different type of highlighters, is writing comments, is using some symbols and writing specific things around. This is basically what you have to do. This is the example that you need to follow. The first thing is the passage is here, right? It's really short. What you have to do is leave a space between lines. As you can see, we have a space because we need to write some things. That's why we need a space. Then use some specific annotation symbology depending on your interaction. Okay, here you have an interaction. This says contradiction. The person is writing or is using a question mark because he or she have a question about. This is the symbology that the person is using. And over here we have a space. You have to leave a space. Most specifically, you have to use this space on the right side for writing comments or for writing some specific things that you consider important in a text. So follow this example in order to apply this reading strategy in a good way.